Here's a first for us. A baseball game sequel that does something other than change the stats. For the past couple years, Namco had been ruling the baseball game genre, but 1988 brought some heavy competition. We've had 2 entries in Taito's Kyukyoku Harikiri Stadium series, 2 entries in the statistics-based Best Play Pro Yakyuu, the first playable version of Moeiro Pro Yakyuu, and there's more competition coming. Konami's already advertising their upcoming baseball game. Data East and SNK have announced that they're going to release yearly baseball games. That is a whole lot of baseball. So for Family Stadium 88, Namco decided to start changing things up. In fact, I believe it's an entirely new engine. Or at least the gameplay differences are significant enough that I think it has to be new. And the result of all those changes is a much worse baseball game. In fact, I'd say it's significantly worse than the previous 2 Family Yakyuu games. As in the previous Family Stadium games, your goal is to win a match against every single other team in the league. However, for 88 they've removed the password functionality. So you have to play and win 13 matches in one sitting to get the ending. When you start a match, you're given a choice of what stadium you're playing in. All of these are based on real-world stadiums, though they don't use the same names. There's the Tokyo Dome, Koshien Stadium, Nagoya Stadium, and Tamagawa Stadium. The only difference between them, though, is the distance to the outfield fence and how high those fences are. 2 of your fielders are randomly selected as good players, and the game gives them a hidden stat boost. A similar feature is the 7th inning. It's the lucky 7th, and all of the players receive a major stat boost during it. In my game, the computer hit 3 home runs in a row during the 7th. The fielding is a significant change in Family Stadium 88, and it's the biggest change that makes the game significantly worse. Your infielders can move pretty snappily, but your outfielders are even slower than they were. And throwing the ball is extremely slow. It can roll to a stop before it reaches the base that you threw it to. Players can also drop the ball at random now. The extremely slow fielding means that you can almost always go one more base than you might think. And in the park, homers are really easy to do. Then there's the pitching. Pitchers can become visibly tired now, and that's a nice change, but they seem to tire out after about 15 pitches. Now those of you who can do math might realize that 2 innings of baseball have a minimum of 18 pitches. You will have to change out your pitchers a lot more regularly in Family Stadium 88, and sometimes it just forces you to do it. And then there's the problem that you'd only know if you were a Japanese baseball fan. So far, the Family Stadium games have favored Team T, the stand-in for the Hanshin Tigers. They're basically the Yankees of the Japanese Baseball League, and the Family Stadium games give them some stat buffs. But in 1988, the Hanshin Tigers finished at the bottom of the league for their 2nd season in a row. You wouldn't notice this if you're not a Japanese baseball fan, but it does seem to get under their skin. There's one more significant feature in Family Stadium 88, and that's a team edit mode. You can change the team name, the players' names, and adjust all their stats. The stats all go into a common pool, though, so to boost somebody, you have to take away that stat from someone else. The first 2 Family Stadium games were regarded as the best sports games of their years by Japanese gaming magazines. Family Stadium 88 was not. It still sold amazingly well, though. About 1.1 million copies were sold in Japan, making it the 30th best-selling Famicom game. It's still a big step down from how the first 2 games sold, though. It looks like the competition for those baseball games is heating up.
Famista 88ナムコ